everyone, welcome to Thoughts and Treasures. My name is Connie and this is my craft room. Welcome in. I first want to start off by saying if you guys are new to me, welcome. Please be sure to hit the subscribe or follow button depending on which platform you're watching on so that you don't miss out on any of my videos that I do put out. Also, you can turn on your notifications to let you know when I do upload them. So, that being said, we are going to be working on this awesome kit tonight. We are doing Christmas in July. So, this is our project number 2 for the month. I usually put about 4 videos out per week, so we're not doing 30 projects, but this is project number 2 of our Christmas in July. It is our little reindeer shelf sitter. He is our chunky wood. He is hopefully going to stand up when he is done. If not, it'll be like a little bit of a leaner. We'll figure it out. I wasn't sure if I should cut another backing piece. If he doesn't stand up, then yes, I will add another backer piece to him so that he, is a completed project. So if you are interested in a kit like this and you want it to stand, then I will definitely, if it doesn't stand at the end, I'll fix that. So, but anyway, this is something, I didn't create the project, however, I altered it to fit what I wanted it to do. So anyway, with all of my kits, I'm just going to take these pieces apart. Some kits have some that are 1/8 inch and pieces that are 1/4 inch. Some are all 1/4 inch, some are all 1/8 inch. It all depends. The 1/8 inch pieces do not come with a masking. You will see those. And the reason why I do sometimes like this is because it just starts to get thick and thick and thick and thick. So you don't need like the embellishments to be thick. With my 1/4 inch pieces, they do come with a masking on them. We have to remove that before we paint. So it's just simple. And these videos are recorded. However, I do not do any prep work. I want you to see everything in real time. So we are going to remove the masking. And it does simply just come right off when you want it to. And you're just going to pull it off. So the masking is there just basically to protect the wood during the laser cutting process. Each laser is different, and for my laser at the moment, it does require a little bit more oomph, so therefore it does like to singe the wood. All lasers are made differently, so it all depends on what you get. There are lasers that are for beginners, and then the ones that are more professional, I guess is a good word. So, but I do want to welcome anybody that is new. Please remember to make sure you follow, become part of our family. I do like to talk just a little bit about my page while I'm doing stuff like this, just to keep the conversation going. Some people don't even listen to the sound. You are more than welcome to fast forward through this. Like I said, this is all real time. I do not edit these down. I want you to see the entire process. And yes, there are pieces to this. We're going to paint him up and just make a cute little Christmas in July reindeer. We're going to have him ready for our Christmas in December. So you can see here's a good example of what happens. See how it's like really, really scorched here? It's just how the laser goes, and each one is different. One is more powerful and can take on thicker woods. They say the one I have is up to 3/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. I'm not sure which. I think it's 3/4 of an inch. I'm not sure how on earth that's going to be possible because, well, I have not cut anything on 3/4 or 1/2 inch. Especially, maybe if it's a solid piece of something, sure. But if we're doing kits or anything like that, like sitters and things, I just can't possibly imagine the thickness of that. It will get rather bulky. So I do want to tell you that I do have a website. It's thoughtsofTreasures.com. It is set up as a blog website, so there are things on there that could be for purchase, but it is not set up to take purchases. I do take purchases just, through communication. So you can contact me. There are videos on there. All of my projects are on there. So if you want to watch different, what's that? Different past projects or crafts that I've done, you can find them over there with a link, and it'll take you directly to the actual video. So instead of scrolling on Facebook, you can just go right there and see all of the different crafts that I've done. So, I'm just going to get the rest of this off. Now, you will know that there are certain things a laser does. It either cuts, scores, or engraves. And I will show you the difference here in just 1 second. See if I can get this off. This tape is rather sticky. It don't want to come off as easy. Alright, there's that one. And again, even with it being all crazy, it did ruin the wood a little bit, but we're painting it anyway. It's really like sticky. Like, I'll wipe that off and let it dry a minute. It's more like a sap kind of stick. Might have been something in the wood so that when the laser hit it, which is fine, we're painting it anyway, it's not a big deal. But I will show you the difference between, obviously we know what the cut is. This is just a plain cut. What I'm cutting, the shape of it. Rest of this off. Now you will know that if you leave any of the masking on and you go to paint, you will find out that you left it on. So what's going to happen is the paint will, once the masking gets wet, it will start lifting. Alright, so let me just wipe this off a minute. And again, that's not going to be a problem because we're going to paint over it. Alright, so this is what we call a score mark. It's a very light, thin cut, whereas this is an engrave. It's much deeper and much darker. So that is the difference between score and engrave. Some of the score marks are there for placement purposes. Some are there just for, well, that's for placement, but then it's there for decoration. All right, so we're going to paint him up. I am going to, let's just paint him the brown. I'm going to use nutmeg for him. And I'm going to do the back side. Let me just check real quick. No, I do need to do some. I'm just trying to think what I need to do. These will be covered up. Possibly. Maybe. You're going to see some of it, but that's going to be the dark. Okay. I don't think I have. I thought. I guess not. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to do them the dark down here. So the only thing that I want to do basically is the antlers. I'm going to do dark, burnt umber, but I'm going to do the back side first. We're going to do his antlers in dark burnt umber but his ears are going to be the color of him. But down here with his feet, I'm also going to do those in the dark of the burnt umber also. So just got to be mindful of where pieces go where. But I am going to start with this. We're just going to use this. Some people like the lighter deers. I personally like the darker color, more like a reddish kind of color. I mean, it is all up to you. If you want to paint your reindeer pink, you can do that. It's just all about what you want. Pink is a very popular color for Christmas. Here lately, I'm not sure. Who knows what the color is going to be this coming Christmas, but I am just going to do him up in this nutmeg. I'm actually using nutmeg brown. It's like a reddish color brown. I really like this brown. There's not too many browns out there that I can say, ooh, I really like that. There's not really a lot of browns to choose from, actually. If you've ever noticed. And if you'd like the lighter brown, you can always, and I'm just going to do the whole backside one color. I forgot a piece of tape here. That's okay. And do the backside all one color, just because it's the back. Sometimes I do it in black, but we're just going to do it in the brown. And then I'll do the front in the colors that it needs to be. So these kits are very easy to do. There is not a lot. You do not need to be a painter in order to do something like this. If you are more artistic in the painting field, then you can put highlights on them. You can put, and I'll show you a couple. You can do some highlights on them, some just embellishing marks, I guess you could call them, just to give it a little more character. And there's always influencing pictures that can help you. I do rely on some. I myself am not a painter, I'm a crafter. But if you want to just do it all in one color, it's going to work well too. I mean, not just one color, but plain, simple, let's do it just the colors and that's it. I mean, that works just as easy and looks nice as it would anywhere. Alright, so I'm just going to do his head part here, his ears. The rest I'm going to do in the burnt umber, which I'm going to get out. But we're going to do his ears, and the part is not going to be seen, but his ears are behind. So the pictures do come in handy with this sometimes, so that you can see where placement is and what needs to be painted what. I mean, if you paint down here, you're never going to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure his ears are painted, and we're going to go ahead and paint his body up. Now this is all going to be, some of this is going to be covered, but this is all going to be nutmeg, because his legs are going to be over top of this. But these kits can be actually quite fun. I do have lots of different things, and if they're ever looking for something in particular, I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you. I can get my hands on a lot of different ideas and patterns. And I know I do tend to do a lot of wood kits on my crafting, but I do a lot of Cricut signs, Cricut vinyl cutouts, decoupaging rice papers. Trying to think what else. Now with score marks, you're going to find it a little bit more difficult, because if you paint right over them like I did with the engraving marks, you could get the paint in the score mark. This is kind of, like I said, they're so deep that you really have to pounce your brush in there to get the paint in it. So I'm just going to paint him like that. We're going to put him to the side. And now this piece, again, we're going to just look at placement before we do anything. This is all going to be covered up where this part is, but I'm going to paint his, what is this, his leg. His leg. So we're just going to get that painted up. So I kind of tend to try, I really do my hardest, try to do all of one color first since I have it out. But if you've seen me, you know I always end up forgetting something and then end up repainting. So if I get a little bit of brown up here, I'm not worried about it because that's going to get covered up. But I do want to make sure I get it all painted. We're going to put that to the side. And now the same thing with this piece. This is part, if it's just for a placement part, you don't have to worry about it. If I wanted it there, you know, say I lost the heart. In order to not to get the paint around in here, you want to pounce on it instead of painting over it. But I have the heart, and you know, if you get this kit, you'll have the heart too, unless you lose it. So I'm just going to go over it. You're going to see that the paint gets in the little cracks, and that is completely fine. I did a project the other day where the color I used completely covered up the score mark, so I mean, it's okay, I put the letters over top of it, but it was just there for placement purposes. I honestly couldn't see it. I was like, ooh, well, I guess it really doesn't matter what we use then. So, all right, that's that. His muzzle is going to be different, his thing. Let's see, do I have all the colors done with this? I think so. See, now this is when I put the brush in and go, oh shoot, I forgot. But I didn't. I'm going to get some burnt umber. And I always pull that one up. Why don't I just put that? All right, this is going to be burnt umber by Apple Barrel. This is just a nice dark brown. We're going to use that for his hooves. Let's put a little bit at a time. And his antlers. So I'm going to see how the foot kind of is smaller. You're going to see around it. So I'm actually going to do the underneath and the foot itself. So with these, like I said, with the kits, you just got to, you know, before you start painting something, just check and double check, triple check, you know, make sure that you got everything. So now sometimes when, I like the backs of everything finished, but then sometimes I'll see that something's hanging over. Then I want to stop and paint the back of that a color. And again, you're not going to see in here because of the body. So if you have extra paint that you need to get rid of, just simply wipe it there. It's all going to be covered up. And if it's for some reason it's not, well, then you whoopsied and you just got to start over. Paint over it. Not start over, but paint over it. This, I think, is going to be so adorable. Oh, what am I doing? I was going to do the feet, but we got to do the antlers first, too. So let's get up here and get these antlers done. And I like to keep my little tutorials on. Now, sometimes people don't like to listen to all the chitter chatter that I talk about, and that's fine. That's what the mute button is for. But if you buy the kit and you ever need a reference, then you can go back and find that project and then just watch the YouTube or Facebook. I think all of my links on my Facebook now go to, if they're not deleted, because Facebook has deleted them, I think they go to YouTube now. But all of mine are on Facebook also. So I said I'm on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. All is the same, Thoughts of Treasures. If you want to follow along on all of them, it'd be great. Just make sure I get all that. And it's just a perfect combination. It really looks good. Now, some people don't like the darker reindeer. They might want like a lighter color reindeer, and that's fine. Like I said, you know, you can, whatever color you want to do. I just personally think this color is just awesome. I like it. and it's all about what I want. So we're going to do his front feet too. And some people want to do black for his feet, that's fine. It's all what you want to do. We're just going to do brown to match his antlers. This is a very, very dark brown, so you know it's almost black. Alright, that's that. We gotta do these pieces too. You know what, let me get a piece of tape because it's just easier sometimes that way when it gets to these smaller pieces. So I just use these painter tape. This is from the Dollar Tree. This is very, 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 very sticky tape. And I wouldn't be putting it on the walls to be painting with, that's for sure. So I always say, you know, to be careful with the paint or tape you're using. 1/4 inch is okay, but when you get to the smaller pieces, the 1/8 inch, well, I won't say okay because be careful with any of it. It can snap, especially when you have thin word, you know, the letters that are connected. You just want to be careful with it. So I always say remove the tape from the item rather than the wood away from the tape. And I'll explain when I remove this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I mean, this is pretty thick. And again, not saying you can't snap it. You still want to be careful with anything. I'm going to give him a black nose. Let's see what else we got over here. We got a nose, we got a thing. That's all. That is all that needs to be done in the burnt umber. Alright, I think that's it. I just want to double check and make sure. Alright, I'm going to actually put this to the side a minute. This is where the score marks are going to be vital. See how we have the stripes on this? I'm going to paint this all white. It's going to be easier to do everything right because I'm going to do my scarf. You don't have to do it red and white. I'm going to do my scarf red and white. It's going to make it easier if I paint everything white, but I don't want it to get in between the score marks. So you're going to see that I am going to, let's see, what am I going to use? I guess we can use one of these. Get some white paint. Oh my gosh. You would think I would put the white that's empty or full over here and the one that's not over there, but no. Alright, so I'm just going to, basically you're going to simply take your sponge, offload as much as possible, that's all you're going to do. And then you're just going to start dabbing. Not hard, just dab. Dippy, 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 dip. This is going to prevent that paint from going into the score marks. You want to make sure that you don't have too much paint on your sponge and that you're not jamming it down. It's kind of like, I always say it's like stenciling. Less is more. So I'm going to give this 2 coats of the white, and then when I take the red over it, obviously I'm going to make sure that I dry it completely, because if not, you're going to end up with some pink. To take the red and just paint the stripes. Now that's going to take a little bit of time. But depending on what colors you do want to do your scarf, sometimes doing a base coat of white is actually easier. Then your colors on top will pop without having to do coat after coat of coat, you know, with the striping. You can go ahead and use, I don't know if I have a, I don't know, that red might work, paint marker, and I think I may use the paint marker. But I'm going to do 2 coats, dry this and then do another coat. But I'll show you up close what I'm talking about by the score marks now. See how the score marks, you can see very nicely, there's no paint in them. That's just from doing this method. So does it take a little bit, especially if you have a large area? Yeah, I'm gonna hut. It is very tedious and very time consuming to do it this way. But it makes it so much nicer. Now if you do happen to get paint in the creases, you can always go back with one of these little, you know, doodads. Oh, I forgot to do something. Sorry, I turned the light off by accident. Just trying to fix that thing. Alright. Let's go down. Let's get this right here. And do one last one over here, and then we'll get it completely dry. And I think I'm going to try the paint marker and see how. Oh, actually, I'm going to do the while I'm doing this. I have a little snowflake. And perfect. Let's put that to the side. I'm actually going to put this on my tape. These are dry now, so I can take it off. Whoops. Tape stuck to the thing. So what I'm talking about is when you remove, don't pull this off, kind of just pull the tape away from your wood. Let's put that on here. And I'm just going to do the same thing. And I'm going to do the same method because I don't want to get the paint on the side. So I'm just going to go very slowly and dab just to keep the paint up off of. Cooperate there, little guy. Dry this and give it one more coat. It always seems with white you need to do 2 coats, obviously. Just do a little bit. I'm going to let that sit and dry. Actually, let's just pull it off and put it over here to dry, because I'm going to use this to put these other pieces on. So we've got our little holly, our red berries, and our nose. Of course, our nose is going to be black. If I can find some black. So let's just paint our nose up real quick. Tiny bit of black. And I just put my paint on a little styrofoam plate. Just something simple. I'm just going to take just a regular old little brush. Nothing special with his nose. Give it one coat of black. And then I'm going to take some green for our holly. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab a brush. And just give this a good coat. Nothing special. Just keeping it off the sides. I like the dark look from the laser, so I really try hard to keep the paint on top and not on the sides. Some people prefer to paint the whole thing, sides and all, and that is completely your choice. And kind of give it a one coat just to give it a little bit of, stuck to my fingers. And then I'm going to get some of this nice bright red. This is bright red we're using. The green was Christmas red. Good thing that was closed. That's probably one of my favorite greens. It's not just for Christmas, but it's really it's just a nice little green. Now, actually, let me use. I know. Could you use a smaller brush? Yes, I could. And I'm going to do the heart in the same color. Now I could use this for the scarf, however I'm going to use the acrylic marker, and I'm not sure what the red's going to look like. But then these are all the pieces that we have to paint, so the scarf is the last final piece, and then we can start putting it together. Those dry. And that's all Christmassy. And then I'm going to use, these are, if you guys have not, and if you're looking for really good markers, these are amazing. These are the fine tip, but they do have round, I think they're called. So I'm going to see. All right, we're going to start with we're going to go red, white. That's a pretty color. All right, this will be your most tedious part of it, so take your time. I'm going to mark it this way. Try not to stick my finger in it. And we're just going to paint this up. So if I don't talk, that's just called concentration. These markers are absolutely amazing. They're very, very, I mean, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. I'm sure maybe Prime Day they will be. I do have them in my Amazon shop. So if you are looking for a nice marker, I have been through so many. And this is the brand I really do prefer. Get the edges here. I do like this fine tip. And they're just so smooth, and one coat and done. Let's get white here, and then the last one over here. And I can decide. Is it really? Well, I guess we can do that one white. All right. Then we're going to leave these two white, or maybe I should alter them. What you think? What should we do? Let's just do them. So those two white, and then we'll do this red. Again, there's no right or wrong, so we'll do this one red. Turn it around. And then skip one. Skip one, do this one. And skip that one, do this one. I have to keep reminding myself or I'll mess up. This one. And then the last one over here, then this one. Really nice markers. Okay. Simple as that. Give it a quick dry. Kind of reminds me of Where's Waldo. Make sure all my pieces are dry. I need to start gluing them together. Put these bottles up. Start with this little guy. This is our back piece. I am going to, you can use whatever glue you want to use. I prefer the super wood glue from the Dollar Tree. It just makes it easier. Let me grab, just in case, but if I grab them, then I won't need them. The little clippies, in case I do need to hold this together for a few seconds. These are always good to have. I just stock up on them. Whole bag full of them. Alright, so I'm just going to put some wood glue on here. And make sure I get all to the edge. And let's lay him down. Oh, I forgot his muzzle thing. We gotta do his muzzle. That's fine. We'll get it. Now I'm gonna stand him up. So you want to make sure that he's sitting flat. That's the important part. Make sure everything is even. If you see the glue come out, that's fine. It's not gonna hurt it. See, when I was making this, I was wondering if I needed to make one more back piece, and if I do, I may just do this whole piece right here. So I'm not sure if just this one center piece would be enough, but we're going to see if he stands. Kind of a test. This actually came as a kit that had a little stand to it, and I didn't like that. I didn't want it like that. Alright, so I'm going to whenever you do that with the clip, it kind of pushes it together, but it moves it too. Make sure you get it even. The wood glue allows you to play with it a little bit. It doesn't dry instantly, so it gives you some time. The amount of wood glue you put on there with pieces like this, I do like to put extra on, and then I can play with it until I get it where I need it to go. But it does set up quickly, but it takes 24 hours to dry. Just get it all nice and even. Don't rush on doing this because you want it to sit nicely. I'm just going to let that set for a few. While we let that set and make sure everything stayed together. Actually, I'm going to put another one over here. Let that sit for a second, and I'm going to paint his little muzzle. I'm going to do his, let's see, should we do khaki? No, let's do, I'm going to do warm buff. Got for his, now this part I'm also, I can't use that anymore because it went into the green. That's been used, so let's cut that off. So I'm going to do the same thing because I don't want to get any paint within this section. His nose I'm not worried about. It's just this section. So we're just going to dab the entire thing. Give that a dry, and we're going to give it another coat. going. Trash can. Now we can bring him back and he should be good to go. So we got this so far. Looking a little strange, but good. Alright, this is gonna go here. So we're just gonna put that on. You want to make sure you line it up. Sure, get it all nice and lined up. Hold down. Clip back down here just to hold a little bit more. Let that glue hold there for a second. Okay, now we're going to put this piece on. It goes right underneath of his chin. So everything should line up nicely. Everything nice and even. So he will sit. Perfect, that's what I wanted to know. He will sit nicely. Let's make sure. And when you're gluing them, you glue it nice and tight. Make sure everything even. And then we'll get his other leg on. Okay, I'm going to pick the paint up and put the paint on it. That won't work. This is going to go right here. Again, I'm going to sit him up because I want to make sure that he sits flat. See? It's going to be perfect. Alright, now we're going to put his little feetsies in here, just like so, and you could probably put them on before, or that's it right there. The glue off. We'll do the same over here. we have his little, let's put a scarf on first. Let's get his little scarfie on. Get that all lined up nicely. Cute, cute, cute. And this is also going to make it thicker for sitting up. I hope there's no difference. Is there? No, I think they're the same. Yes. You said before I pushed it down, I wanted to make sure that they were exactly the same. Sometimes you have to do that, check that too. So I'm going to just stand him up again. And the reason I'm standing up is because I want to make sure it's all nice and flush. He stands perfect. You just want to get this. Make sure he stands one last time. Let that dry a second. Whew, intense. But you want to make sure, otherwise if it's up or leaning down, he might fall over. So it's always good just to take your time. There's no rushing in crafting. Put a little bit on there for his little nose. His little nose on here. And then we're going to put the heart down on here. And the little berries on here. And then I'm going to take this apart. And we're going to stick this right here. See, now this is where I said, oops, I think I'm going to paint the back of this because you're going to see the back. So, while I have some green out before I do this together, I'm just going to paint the back green also. I shouldn't do it over top in case something splatters. I could have picked a bigger brush, but it's the first thing that I grabbed. And the paint is a little drying out, but that's okay. We will make it work. And this is why I said I shouldn't paint over top of it. See? Learn lessons. Alright, let's just get this finished painted. Get this dried up. There we go. Wouldn't go off. And then I'm just going to put that right there. But before I put that on, I'm going to decide. I'm going to decide real quick if I want to do a little bit of shading, like not shading, but that's what he looks like so far. I think I'm going to go in with some white and do a little detailing, just a little bit, not too much. So I'm going to use my little brush and I'm going to actually pour some brand new white. Let's pour it here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some white to brighten him up a little bit in certain areas, like we're going to do over here by his ear. And I'm just going to put now, I am not the best at doing this yet, but I am practicing, and practice makes perfect. Just to give him a little bit of, wrong one. And then on his antlers, I'm going to make sure I don't stick my hand in it. So that's what we did so far, just to give him a little bit of, I don't know what you want to call it, just a little bit of something, I guess. Is that what you call it? Let's turn him this way a minute. I'm going to put some right here. Let's see, do I want to come back? And I try to keep this one paintbrush just for that. Let's see how I'm going to do this. You don't want to get overboard with it, but like I said, I'm not good at this yet. Just a little bit of time. Let's do, try not to stick my finger in it. Trying to think of how we're up. Let's see here. So just kind of giving him a little bit of, just a little bit of character on him, just so he's not so plain. I guess that makes a better a better uh, terminology for it. I'm gonna put a little bit here. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on his foot. And kind of outline his foot, or let me think. I'm thinking a second. And then we do the same thing over here. Give him a little something, and then we're going to go around his foot, like around the top part here. I think I'm going to do a little bit on his nose too. Just go across here. Oops. Looking cute. Okay, let's do a tiny bit across his nose, the bridge of his nose. All right, I think stuck to the table. I think that's all I want to do. So I'm just going to wipe my brush off. Put that up here. And then I can glue the last two pieces on. Let me dry it real quick so I don't touch anything. So it's just fun. It gives it a little bit of character. Like I said, you don't have to. I showed you what it looks like prior to. But this just kind of gives it a little something. Oh, I should put some. I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to put a little bit in the, what's this thing called? The holly. That's good. And we can glue the rest piece on. And I think I'm very, very happy with this. Let's get his little turning back around. Why do I keep it? I'm going to put paint on it yet. Put a little bit of glue on here. And we're going to stick it right there. Alright guys, let's see. Let's stand him up. And it works. It's perfect. There's no need for an additional piece to him. He's fine just the way he is. And let me know what you think. What do you guys think? Should I do something else to him, or do you think he's perfect just the way he is? I love your feedback. I want to hear it all. So, thank you for joining me again. Remember, if something like this inspired you, or you're interested in a kit like this, so you can do one for your home for this coming Christmas, please contact me or message or just comment Reindeer in the comments and I can get back to you. But if this inspired you to do something, please make sure that you hit the follow button or the subscribe button so that you're notified every time I go live or when I upload a video. I also have a Facebook channel and a Telegram, so please contact me on those also, or subscribe to them also, that way you're notified. But I appreciate you all being here, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, thoughts become things and things become treasures.